So right now I'm going to turn the floor over to Doug Ball, our Executive Director, to deliver his Executive Director's report. Doug?
Thank you, Dan. And good morning, everyone. A lot has changed since I spoke to members at OMSSA's 2020 annual general meeting, and that was only last September. At that time, many were thinking COVID numbers are low, a vaccine is coming, and maybe this pandemic will end soon. And there was even hope for in-person events to happen in 2021. Here we are 9 months later, and maybe now there is actually some light at the end of the tunnel. And new thoughts are top of mind, like national childcare and provincial rebuilding, restructuring, and recovery. You'll recall, as we entered 2020, still unaware of the global crisis to come, our focus at OMSSA was on readying ourselves for anticipated unknown changes to come in the sector and taking steps to ensure the long-term sustainability of your association. While our members were innovating to deliver high-quality services in more effective and responsive ways at the beginning of 2020, we at OMSSA were focused on providing more proactive policy leadership, more accessible and relevant training, and more meaningful opportunities for dialogue and knowledge exchange. In addition to this, we had plans in place to increase and strengthen our partnership opportunities and strengthen our financial viability. You'll remember, as Dan mentioned, on March 11, 2020, we held a successful joint session between our 47 leads and the OFIFC, strengthening our partnership both at the provincial and local levels. 2 days later, on Friday the 13th, the Assistant Deputy Minister of Education called to inform us that the entire province was to shut down because of a worldwide pandemic. No one knew what was to come or for how long. What we at OMSSA knew was that our members needed each other more than ever before to brainstorm ideas, share best practices, and most of all, to hear each other and know that no one was alone in this. In response to this, our quarterly network meetings became weekly COVID-19 consultation calls, and in some network cases, daily calls. The 47 leadership table was brought together weekly, often with provincial ADMs participating. We also increased the frequency of our bi-weekly newsletter to a weekly distribution focusing on pandemic information sharing, and created a dedicated COVID-19 resources page on our website to provide all our members access to the latest resources and information available. As the days became weeks, which then became months in the pandemic, we at OMSSA, like our members, knew we had to shift to a new way of doing business and supporting our members. To support our members transition to remote work, we offered 2 free webinars. Some of you may have taken it, tips and tools for working from home and leading a team remotely. We also transitioned all our core and relevant training offerings to online formats, delivering almost 500 hours of interactive virtual workshops to 700 human service professionals across the province. As we examined our entire operations, we invested in technology further to enhance what we were doing while cutting other expenses to ensure OMSSA did not close down at any point throughout the year. Although we canceled the 2020 OMSSA Exchange Conference, we did go ahead with virtual events later in the year, including our mental health forum, policy, both of which obtained record numbers in attendance for OMSSA events. We also established new sector lead tables for children's services, housing and homelessness, and social assistance for consultative purposes. These tables bring together the 47 specialized management leads from each service manager. The first meeting of each of these tables occurred in late summer of 2020 for the purpose of updating our position papers in each sector. Now, the efforts we made in 2019 to modernize and digitize our association, along with operational procedures and staff restructuring to ensure sustainability of the organization, did pay off for us in 2020 when the pandemic hit. And it was in 2019 that our members identified policy and government relations, as well as networking and knowledge exchange as their top priorities for OMSSA to focus its work. During the pandemic of 2020, this focus, along with providing virtual education and training, helped guide our activities during this crisis. As we see light at the end of the tunnel, and hopefully an end to this crisis, it will be important for us to determine a new strategic direction for our new normal as an association. We know change is a-coming, and part of that change will include a new president for our own board of directors. But before that happens, I want to acknowledge the dedication, work, and leadership of our current president of the association for the past 2 years, and in particular throughout the pandemic. A lot has been accomplished under Dan's leadership, but perhaps the legacy of his presidency will be the creation of the Provincial Municipal Human Services Collaborative Table, in which all 47 CMSMs and DSABs are considered in the tent for consultation with multiple ministries at one time. Something that has been asked for years, but is now a reality. So on behalf of the staff and every member of OMSSA, I say thank you, Dan. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Dan, so we can keep things moving along. Thank you.